What's up, y'all? It's your girl EJ, and welcome to the recap, y'all. Now, if you're new to the channel, guys, please go ahead and check it out. If you like it over here, then go ahead and subscribe to your girl channel. Now, today, y'all, we're going to be talking about Zatima episodes 1 and 2. Now, for all my channel members, I want to give a special shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you rocking with me. For all my day ones who've been rocking with your girl for the longest, thank you guys. Now, I'm about to bring my friend on. We're doing a collaboration and we're going to be doing Zatima all week long. Well, not all week long, well, all season long. So we're going to be on my channel, then we're going to be on her channel. So let me go ahead and bring my girl in, Tamieka's Den, into the building.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm excited about doing this collab. I'm excited to talk about Zatima.
I know, right? I've been waiting for this. Now, what's so unique about this is that you're a Sisters fan and you've been a
hmm
Sisters fan. I, however, did not look at Sisters. And I think
hmm
that's what gives me a little bit of a unique perspective to this whole Zatima world because I've never really chosen a side. I hear that it get crazy out here with everybody, team this and team that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I think it's gonna be fun. Let me see who all is in the building. Let me see if I can get this chat up. Okay, we got Daria, we got Matthew, we got Nairobi, Andre. Oh, I gotta get my glasses, y'all. I think that says, oh, Blatant Truth. I love that name. That's nice. Shari, what's up? All right, y'all. Well, thank y'all for coming out and hanging out with us. So let me go ahead and get our slides pulled up so we can go ahead and jump right into it. So far, how you feeling about the season while I get this pulled up?
I think it had a good start. It's interesting, especially for me as a Sisters fan, to kind of see the difference between how Sisters is done and then Zatima is done. It's definitely different aspect. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a not so good thing because you'll probably be comparing if you are somebody that watch both shows. I would say that's probably the downside. But the upside is that, of course, these two became fan favorites and people enjoy seeing them. And it was like, okay, cool. This is exciting to get more of their backstory and get a little bit more into detail with them and just have that kind of one-on-one with them. But then you'll find yourself sometimes comparing like what happened with Sisters and what's going on with here. So that may be the downside of it, because everything is not kind of coinciding. Sometimes it's kind of like how Marvel is, where this is a different universe even though we still got the same two characters that come from there. So
Yeah, for sure. Because I think I was noticing that it felt like this season and Zatima was somewhere else because I do actually check out the reviews. So I don't
hmm
look at the show, but I look at the reviews, and it felt like we were in different timelines.
right.
And so I was like, I wonder how that works out for people who look at that. But
hmm
hey, I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's a pretty good show. I like these two characters, and like I said, coming from a unique perspective of not really knowing who they
hmm
are prior, I just enjoy the vibe that I get with them. So when we started out this episode, Zach was, he was doing the most. I mean, Zach said
hmm
he wanted and he wanted now.
yes.
Zach said he wanted all the time. Fatima just looked like she was just like overwhelmed. She was like, Zach, can you please stop?
Yes.
Zach was doing a lot though. So we're gonna see that they're gonna be having a conversation. Basically, she's trying to tell him, like, look, I my
hmm
body is different, but he's
Right.
not really hearing it. What did you think about that whole dialogue as they're trying to have this conversation? They move down to the sofa and she's really trying to explain to him. How did you feel Zach took that conversation?
Yeah, he definitely wasn't understanding her. You know how that is when you trying to have that conversation and you feel it's kind of like you're talking at the person, not to the person. They take out of it what they want to take out of it. But again, I think that is showing, like, if you are somebody that watch Sisters, now seeing this side of Zach, Lord, my cat, she always wake up when I'm doing a live. She was just knocked out. You kind of see that maybe this explains because in Sisters, Zach before was kind of like the playboy, getting around with a lot of different women, and even her friend kind of brings that up later in the episode. Is like maybe this is an explanation as to why he was being that way. Maybe he could even possibly have like an addiction. People have different addictions to different things. So I did find that to be interesting that she's saying like, yo, slow down, you want it way too much, like this is not normal, you may want to go talk to somebody about this.
Exactly. Okay, that's
Mm.
kind of the same thing I took from that whole thing. I felt like Zach in this moment wasn't really receptive to the conversation. He
Mm-hmm.
took it as if she was saying something negative. He was trying to
Right.
figure out what he was doing wrong. Like,
Right.
what is it? Someone else? Is it this? And I'm like, dude, calm down. Like,
Exactly.
listen. Then we're gonna move on into oh Lord, oh Deja. Move outside. They're getting ready to leave. Deja has the ambulance over here. Now, if you
Mm-hmm.
guys do not remember last season, Deja, she got them hands thrown on her. Her and Fatima, well, Fatima came to blows. I don't remember Deja throwing one punch, to be honest. Just
Right.
remember her getting dragged out the hot tub. So I guess this is her saying, I'm hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel about Deja in general? Just this whole
I'm
character.
not a fan of hers. It is what it is. But I actually forgot about that as well. So it was a good thing they gave that reminder because I was like, what the heck is she talking about? And I'm like, oh yeah, Fatima dragged her out from the daggone hot tub. So I thought that was interesting. But child, Deja needs to calm the heck down before she get, what I'm saying, beat the heck up. But then I was also like, damn, Madam already stepped to her, so I wouldn't think that she would be saying nothing else to Fatima. So I don't know.
Okay. Now that is funny because that you mentioned Madam, because that's one of my favorite shows to look at is All the Queen's Men. And I actually jumped in on that episode. That was the only episode I
Oh,
actually looked at. So I could see Madam. I just wanted to see her out of her element. And I'm like, okay, Deja, so you done seen Madam, you know who she is,
exactly.
and you still acting up. Okay. But
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like Deja's just gonna be Deja. She gonna keep trying it and keep trying it no matter what. So it is what it is. Let me pull up a few comments here. Let's see. Blatant Truth says, I don't remember Zach being so sex driven before. Um, Tamieka, do you that because that would be on you? Has he been that sex driven before in your
I don't
opinion?
really remember that either, and I definitely don't remember nobody else complaining. But like I said, it kind of would make sense, possibly, to say that because his drive is so much, that may be why he was being so, promiscuous and out in these streets. I mean, we never really, if you think about it, got into it that deep when it came to Sisters, because even though he's a character up there, and we would see his issues with Karen, of course, it was more so focusing on the sisters. So we really
Mm,
didn't get too in detail with him. Like even on Sisters, I would notice that we don't really see him going to work. That he got this office and these businesses and real estate and stuff when
yeah.
he's on Zatima, and you hear him mention it a little bit on Sisters, but it's more so you seeing Fatima going to work. So it's like
Mm.
you get that little bit more detail when it comes to this show than you do with the other one. I feel like.
Y'all not say how messed up the toy was. Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that. It was messed up, J. Will. And let's see, Deja is going to be the thorn in Fatima's side.
Mm-hmm.
Child. Oh my
Absolutely.
goodness. Deja is not gonna let this go. I think at this point it excites her that Fatima gets such a
Yeah, it
kind of
seemed
thing.
like it does. Absolutely. I agree with that.
All right, let's move on to so that was just when they were all outside and Fatima is trying to get Zach to move on. He won't leave, she won't leave. They just
Mm-hmm.
doing the most. And then we're gonna see that she's gonna drive out, and this is, I think, when her tire actually messes up. And then Zach is talking to Deja, and he's just like, "Look," like trying to see if she's okay, trying to be a good landlord per se. But then Deja just have to take it there. She have to go one step forward. She wants him
Right.
to take her to the doctor. I'm like, girl, chill out. Like, look, stop it. Deja say
Yes.
she gonna conquer him one way or the other.
Right.
So um let me go past that one because we really already done talked about Deja. Oh, craziness. All right, let's talk about this right here
Mm-hmm.
because your boy Bryce. So we saw on last season that Bryce, he stepped to Zach for whatever reason. He felt like Zach was showing him signs, and girl, for the life of me, I can't figure out where he
Yeah.
got this from. It's like he made it up in his imaginary. It was so imaginary, but he tried it. He tried to kiss Zach, and now they're in this awkward space, and you're just
Mm-hmm.
like, I didn't know how they were going to react with each other, but it looked like I was about to say DeVale. Lord have mercy. It looked like Zach was trying to avoid it, but Bryce wanted to talk about it. And then then that's when he decides, okay, let me talk about it. And he really tells him how he really felt about it. What did you think about that whole dialogue that these two had, especially when it relates to Zach, because now he's telling why he felt the way he felt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know why they had to add that in the story period for him to want to get confused and think Zach wanted him, but okay. But anyway, nonetheless, of course, Zach was going to be awkward and uncomfortable, and be trying to avoid him. That didn't surprise me at all. And it's an awkward situation. I don't know how he possibly thought that he wanted him, in any type of shape, way, or form. But I'm glad they just got the conversation over with. They didn't like prolong it and drag it out or whatever, and said what they needed to say to each other. And him telling him how he felt about it and why he took it the way that he did and stuff like that. I'm just glad they kind of got it out the way.
Yeah. Okay.
Because sometimes he dragging storylines, but I like that's another thing that I do like about the show because it seemed like they get to stuff pretty
They get to the
fast.
point.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go check out the comments. Let's go see what we're talking about out here in the comments. Once again, thank you everybody who showed up. Make sure y'all go ahead and hit the like button. Make sure y'all subscribe to our channels if you're not already subscribed. At Tamieka's Den, that your girl just called me EJ. Let's see. Shari said Deja doesn't believe that fat meat is greasy, and she don't.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. How did? Oh, I clicked it off. My bad. How did Fatima go and get the side chick from the car? Oh, you know what? That's so funny because that was one of the first things that I thought about too. And I tried to rationalize it. And then I was like, you know what? Just let it go. Just put it to the side. But I did think about that. Like, how did she go to the car? Where did she was she driving Zach's car? But then Zach didn't know about the flat tire. So and I was like, you know what? Don't do it. Don't do that to
Mm-hmm.
yourself. And then let's see. Oh, okay. Somebody else was saying the same thing. Okay. All right. I got to bring up these other slides real quick. But I want to say that right after this is when we go into the barbershop scene, if I'm not mistaken, or either we're gonna go to Angela and Fatima. I got to get the other slides, so give me just
Mm-hmm.
a second. So, yeah, we're going to go into actually Angela. So, we
Mm-hmm.
learn in this scene that your girl Angela has decided that she's just trying to avoid Bryce. Po Bryce. Everybody just trying to avoid Bryce. Why are we trying to avoid him? Let's just sit down and talk to him and have a conversation because all this extra stuff is doing too much. But for me with Angela, I was like, girl, don't try to avoid him now. Like you've been seeing all of these signs. Just have a conversation with him. It's done. It's over. If you don't want to be with
Mm-hmm.
him, it's your prerogative to not want to be with someone who's bisexual. That's your choice. It is what it is. You can't be judged for that, but you
Mm-hmm.
should at least have a conversation with them because it felt like they were close. It felt like they were trying to build something. I mean, I know it was really quick because it felt like their relationship was a fast one.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you think about Angela's whole situation with Bryce and how she's been trying to avoid him?
Yeah, one, I don't get how she wasn't seeing the signs because it definitely was some signs and some red flags and everything else there. I agree with what you were saying. It was fast, but it seemed like they was both feeling each other, both happy and excited about each other, into each other. So I would think that if it's like that, you would take the time out to have a conversation. And if you decide, that's not for you, then just tell him that and y'all go ahead and go y'all separate ways. To avoid him, that just seems a little childish to me. Yeah.
Facts. Facts. Definitely facts. So then she goes on to tell Fatima goes on to tell her about her issues, about how Zach wants it
Mm-hmm.
all the time. Excuse me. And in her mind, she's like, shoot, that's kind of that's kind of a good thing. That's like not like a bad thing to have. But then they get into the true nature of it being 4, 5, 6 times a day and all of this stuff. And I'm just like, dang, Zach, you like the Energizer bunny up in this thing. Oh my goodness.
Uh-huh.
And then let me see, they talk about that for a little while, and she says that she has to figure out something to do basically, and then we know later that what she's concocted up.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see, we're going to move on to the barbershop scene, and this was something that I was wondering how these two were going to react when they saw each other. So we all know what happened with Nate. He's the
Mm-hmm.
one who had old girl in the hot tub, just totally disrespecting Zach's home. Sometimes I think that when people been boys for so long, they've been friends for so long, they think that they can enter your space without, with
Hey, Mochi.
hey girl, hey Moochie. They just want to enter your space without thinking about it. And I guess he felt comfortable enough that he could do this and that it would be okay, not really thinking about the fact that Zach had this woman now, that someone that lived with him. And so now they're just in a weird space. But to me, it feels like they gonna be fine. It feels like they just gotta get through it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this whole Nate and Zach situation? And a quick question for you: do they actually ever bring any of his friends? Like, how much of Zach do you really see in Sisters, or do you get no backstory of him at all?
It's just been like little breadcrumbs, to be honest. Sisters kind of just that's the they have their sisters crew, and most of the boyfriends of the sisters, one way or another, would kind of interact with each other at one time or another. Like you may have seen them at the gym together or seen them playing basketball together, but it doesn't so much focus on them. We haven't seen their friends, so the first introduction to these friends, both for Fatima and for Zach, was actually on this show. And then we have seen like Angela show up on Sisters now and be talking to Fatima. Prior to that, you would more so just see Fatima with Andy, like she kind of got a relationship going with her working with her at the law firm. So I don't like Zach friends. Okay, I think they're very immature. I was like looking at them like, okay, now I could kind of see why Zach was acting the way that he used to dag on that. And I feel like he's kind of outgrown them. But these are friends. I think one he knew longer than the other, if I'm not mistaken, that kind of come from childhood or whatever. And you know how some people stay stuck, but you kind of have, grown and they still in a certain space. That's kind of what I feel like the vibe is with this friend. And then on top of that, for him to now be more successful, getting a business, having money and stuff like that, whereas he didn't have it before, kind of put them in a different dynamic or whatever. I do think they're gonna get over this argument though, and I think he was way out of line to go and get in the hot tub and doing all that foolishness. And I like the fact that the guy in the barbershop was like, okay, yeah, y'all gotta cut this out, and he was telling him he was wrong. Excuse
Exactly.
me,
You're fine.
so
I
I
got that
did
thing
like
handle.
I did like that they was at least keeping it real and calling him out about it. And to me, he was just being childish too. I was like, grow up.
Exactly. He was doing a bit too much. Like, dude, you got a wife, kids, all this stuff. Come on, it's time to grow up. What up, T Griff? You don't like his
Hmm.
friends either. Let's see, Don. There was a bromance starting between Zach, Preston, and Jake, but nothing came of it. Okay,
Right, yeah. And I did like them becoming friends, but like you said, they touched it briefly and then I
moved
don't know
on.
where it went.
I think Tony is maturing a little bit. A little bit. Nate is terrible. Yeah, I like Tony. Tony seems
Mm,
like he's a lot more mature than Nate for sure.
right.
For sure.
Hmm.
All right, let's see where my screen slides go. Here they go. All right. So that's when you were just talking about when Tony actually comes out and it's like, look, you need to apologize. Like you're wrong for what you did. And he's trying to get
Hmm.
them to, well, he's trying to get him to apologize because Zach really
Right.
doesn't have anything to apologize when it's all said and done. And
Hmm.
then we're going to move on to this brother. This brother to me is so toxic. I cannot stand this brother. He gets on my nerves. Like, girl, I just want to go through the screen and just choke him. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
cannot stand for people to use people like that. And it's almost like he's trying to make him feel guilty about taking those charges for him. Like, you made a choice, bro. Like, that was
Mm-hmm.
your choice to take those charges. So now you just need to let it go. He done gave you money, let it go. But the way he just come up in there being a bully, I didn't like him at all. What's your take on the brother?
Yeah, he's trash. I don't like him at all. I think that's disgusting, and it's like, I just can't. He's horrible, very disrespectful, very nasty, and like you said, you made the choice to take those charges. And when you came, you asked him for money. He wrote you a check. What did you do with that money? Now y'all talking about. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but that pissed me off. I was like, what the heck y'all doing
Exactly.
for the tag on money?
Exactly. Uh,
He's one of those people that will keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. There's never going to be enough, you know what I'm saying, for him. Mm-mm.
exactly. It's never going to be enough. And I just didn't like the way he was disrespecting their shop. He said he didn't want to be
Yes,
smoking in there.
very
Get up out of there.
disrespectful.
I was like, somebody just need to drag him one good time.
Hmm.
Now we're gonna go back to the scene, back to the office. This is when we find out that Fatima's tire has a tire. It has a nail in it, and she gets the jack out and everything. I ain't even gonna lie to you, girl. Like, I literally learned how to change a tire, but I'm not gonna lie. In my married years, I probably won't ever change the tire. Like, I probably won't try to change the tire. And that's just that I'm like Angela. I'm like, girl, I'm not gonna try to change this tire. I'm gonna call somebody to change this tire. But we see that Fatima is very, very independent. She doesn't want to call Zach to change the tire, and they're having this whole dialogue. And then they talk about Ian, and they talk about how Ian also said the same thing, that he felt like he didn't need her. Do you get that from the Fatima character, that she's so independent that is one of her, I guess you would say, flaws, is that in relationships she doesn't need someone, and it's coming off so strong. What do you think about her whole
Yeah, they've
dynamic?
always had Fatima like that from the very beginning. I think they have kind of made it even stronger now, but that's always been a part of her character, to be strong, to be independent. I got it. I don't need nobody help. I'm the shot caller, that type of thing.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
All right, let's see. T Griff says Jeremiah feels like Zach owes him, absolutely, and he don't.
Hmm.
The script was also flipped because we were told that Zach went to jail for his brother. Now we're being told that his brother went to jail for Zach. Which one is it, Tyler Perry? Listen. I can't even call it. I don't even know.
That's true too, because I remember it being that Zach, went to jail, but all of a sudden now I was a little confused with that too. But I'm like, well, maybe he went to jail for him before he went. Like, I'm just rolling with it.
Okay, I do not like, see, little things like that would irritate me so much, and I would be trying to figure it out, and I do not like trying to figure out stuff like that, because I would be like, but you said this,
Right.
and now you saying this, like,
Yes, yes, I agree. It is definitely also a defense mechanism. Absolutely.
oh, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure, you can definitely see that. All right, so then we're gonna see. I think his name was Paul, if I'm not mistaken. It was Paul, right? I think it was Paul.
Think so.
So we see Paul, and I've been loving seeing him. We've seen him in a lot of things lately. I don't know. I just been liking looking at him lately, but he plays in a lot of different things.
Yeah, I was trying to remember where I know him from. I'm like, I know he's been in other things, but I couldn't,
Yeah. He played
place
in
it.
he played in House of Vicious. If you saw, that was on BET Plus. If you look at Double Cross, which is an all black, it's on the all black channel, which I love that show, by the way. If you don't look at that show, you should actually give it a chance. We got to give a few things a chance on the all black channel, y'all. And Double
Mhm.
Cross is one of them, but he plays in that. But I love this. I love him, like his the actor. So it was nice seeing him pop up here. Do you think this is going to be a potential love interest for Angela, or do you think he's feeling Fatima? Because I couldn't really catch the full vibe. To be honest, it felt like he was looking at Fatima, but then Angela was coming on so strong. I don't really know where they're going with this.
Yeah, I don't know where they're going, but I definitely feel like he want Fatima and Angela want him. And she was definitely coming on strong and trying to put it out there like, hey, here I am.
Angela, when she forgot about when she talking about they needed a ride and she didn't have her car. I
Right.
said, Angela, if you do not sit down somewhere, you are doing way too much. He's got a lot to like to look at. Okay, exactly. And let's see. Shari says, "Do you think Paul put the nail in Fatima's tire?" No, I think
I don't think so.
when she drove off that thing when she was trying to get out of there when she was leaving. Did you hear the noise when her car hit the thing? I think something might have happened right then. I think they were trying to implant that in our heads, you know,
Hmm.
that was probably what it was, but you never know. Let's see what T Griff had to say. I think Paul won Fatima. Yeah, he was looking at her kind of strong, and the fact that he knew their names, and I was like, okay, Paul, I see you paying attention out here. So we shall
Hmm.
see. I don't know. I remember there's a trailer or something where they're like in the elevator or something together, and the elevator stops or something, and then Zach is standing there. So I feel
Oh
like there's going to be
yeah.
something.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
this is what we were just talking about. How Angela was just doing the most. She flirting hard.
Hmm.
Let's see. Okay, let me get this one out the way. Okay, so now we're just gonna get back to the house, and this is actually the where we're kind of rounding off the ending of the first episode, where Fatima's like, "Look, he comes in," and this is my other thing. I'm sorry. Sometimes when I got too many thoughts, I be jumping, but he comes in immediately. I think he hugs her or something, and immediately he's trying to take her upstairs, right? And they
Right.
just had this
Hmm.
conversation, and I'm just like, if you just had the conversation, she just told you what she was feeling, and now here you are still trying to jump this girl. Come on, Zach. Like,
Right.
what are we
Hmm.
doing here? Why are we not listening? So she tries to sit him down. She's like, look, like basically, I just can't take this no more. I'm tired. And then we get more conversation around. He feels like when they first started, like before they got engaged, that she was all about this and now she's not. And she explains to him that she wasn't then. It was just that she thought it would die down. So, what did you think about their whole conversation and how Zach still, you know, doesn't listen?
Yeah, one they got poor communication on both parts because sometimes Zach do have a point when he brings up like you only want to talk about what you want to talk about when you want to talk about it. Sometimes if he's saying something, it's like, oh no, we'll get to that later. But when she's saying it, she want the attention right then and there. And two, she should have been telling him that from before because it does kind of seem like if it's a change between before y'all got engaged into when y'all after and you saying you thought it was gonna go down, but nobody's a mind reader. They don't know what you thinking or feeling. So if that was an issue for you, I feel like you should have been telling him sooner. But it goes to
Facts.
show, how quick he forget too. Because if y'all just had this conversation this morning, how you coming back tonight and about to still do the same thing that she just talked to you about? So they need some work
Exactly.
with them with that.
Exactly. I'm like, man, you could have at least gave it a day, Zach. Gave it one day
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah. Exactly. Not even 24 hours.
Okay. T Griff says Paul knows their name, what flow they work on, so he putting up them. Okay, exactly. He know everything. Let's see here. So we go on to see that they're going to, like I said, they're having this deep conversation. I believe at some point they're going to have dinner, and I think he's even going to have something to say about the dinner because she does like takeout, and he's just hold on, let me pull that back out because she does takeout, and he's like plastic plasticware or something like that. It's just you can tell that they just not on the same page right now, and it's like you said, they really got to work on this communication thing because honestly, it feels like they vibe with each other. If they just communicate better, they would be so much greater. Let's go ahead and get these slides in here.
Mhm.
Zach isn't gonna have anyone coming at his girl now. Let me see
Mhm.
what Shari said. I side Isaac for not giving Fatima some time to rest after a busy day. Did you notice he didn't ask her about her day? Heck, she couldn't even get her shoes off before he wanted some. Exactly. He came in pretty strong. Now then,
Mhm.
at the very last part of it, they build up this whole thing about the side chick, right? And then Fatima goes out to get the side chick and comes back in with this side chick. I was just like, really? That's what we doing? And look how Zach was looking at her, though.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know. You gonna put some warm water in it? It's supposed to feel like the real thing. Zach is like, if I could just, why would I want this when I could just have you? I'm like, this is
right.
not gonna go well for these two. But so we find out what the side chick is or whatever. Do you have anything to say about that whole situation?
Yeah, that was a hot mess. I mean, I knew it wasn't gonna be an actual side chick because we know Fatima ain't going for that, and she says she never really seen him watching, porn or any of those different type of things. So, I mean, it was a small idea, I guess. Like, she was thinking, but I don't know if that's gonna be something he into because every guy's different, and everything ain't gonna work. So again, that's where the communication thing comes in. Because of course he looking at her like he crazy, and he's saying he ain't using that. She must have lost her daggone mind. And she like, no, I want to see you try it. Let me go put some water in. And then it was hilarious when she said it squirts. He was like, squirts what?
Water. Don said no 30-something-year-old couple who has only been together for only 4 months is living together is exhausted this quick in their relationship. Tyler just don't know. Hey, I don't know. Zach in here trying to put it down 6, 7 times a day. I
Yeah.
don't know. he doing too much. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, they are still in a honeymoon phase of this relationship, to be honest. Let's see. Shari says Zach's reaction was priceless when handed the side chick. Oh my god, his face was
Mm-hmm.
doing the most. I loved it. I ain't even gonna lie. So we are
Yeah.
also gonna get a conversation where Zach is going to tell her that his mom wants to see him. So we learned earlier that Jeremiah says that the mom wants to see him. Now,
Mm-hmm.
just based off of what you told me already, it sounds like we don't have a lot of a backstory about his mom and all of that. And so the Sisters fans are really getting a chance to learn a lot more about Zach and where he comes from, and maybe why he is the way he is, or has been, because it feels like this character may be evolving, I guess we would say, or has
Mm-hmm.
grown from a certain extent. Because, like I said, I follow the reviews, I just don't
Mm-hmm.
look at it like that. But it does feel like this character is somebody who has been grown, who's evolving. I'm not going to say
Mm-hmm.
grown all the way because he's still got a lot of work to do,
Right.
but we are going to learn some things about his family that's probably going to put a little bit more focus and attention as to why he may be the way he is at times. So his Fatima is going to tell him, like, go see your mom, and I think I like that about her. I like the fact that she pushes him to go see his mom.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to the mom, and here the mama is. Lord have mercy. What, I'm gonna let you go first on this mama. Go ahead and hit me with this scene for the mama. When he walks up, hit me with that scene and what your thought process was as you were looking at this.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot, and it definitely does give you a different perspective because, like I said, it gives you a little bit more understanding. I actually felt really bad for him. I was like, oh man, like Zach done really been through some things out here, honey, and she is a hot mess. Like the apple don't fall far from the tree with the daggone brother. They just two peas in a pod right about now. As soon as he come up, it's all about, oh, I heard you got a house. I heard you got money. What can you give me? Then you saying I don't need nothing, but you asking for about five things less than 2 seconds after you just finished saying you don't need nothing. And you just hear him saying like, what exactly have you done for me, and why should I be worried about, what I'm saying, what's going on with y'all? And I can understand why he have that attitude. She talking about don't forget your family, but he was like, what the heck my family, what I'm saying, did for me? I'm out here going from foster care, different homes or whatever the case may be, getting beat for no reason, just for breathing and all different kind of stuff. And then she just basically says she didn't have no control over it, and it's not her fault. She got a problem. So obviously she's been addicted to drugs and struggling with that. And I get that, that's definitely something that's real. But at the same time, it's like, then you shouldn't be surprised that he's coming to you with the attitude that he's coming with. That shouldn't be no shock to you. If anything, you supposed to be trying to make amends and trying to get a, good relationship with him. And then at the same time, again, throwing it in his face that, oh, your brother did this time for you. So it's like I'm supposed to owe him for the rest of my life because he supposedly did this time for me.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. And then asking him for more money, and he's like, "What did y'all do with the money that I gave you?" Oh, well, I have a problem. So the money is just gone, but then you're asking him to go ahead and buy the brother a truck. The brother could have got a truck with that check he wrote.
Facts. Facts.
I
That
ain't like
it
none
was a
of that.
lot. It was a
Yeah.
lot. Somebody says Zach is wanting sex anywhere from 24 to 30 times a week for Fatima. That's what it feels like. Sex could be a coping mechanism for Zach because of his childhood trauma. Facts.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Interesting how he didn't recognize her and walked past her. That says a lot. That says a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then they agreed, and then that's a shame that she smoked up 10K. I mean, come on, that was just way too much. I was just like, okay, this mama was just giving off these like. It was exactly how you said. She says that she didn't want anything, but was asking for everything, and
Mm-hmm.
then that she needed groceries. So now we about to go to the grocery store.
Right.
We get to the grocery store and let me get this one pulled back up. Uh-oh, wrong one. Let me take this off. Okay. And that's the brother over there just lurking. I just don't like
Mm-hmm.
him. He just looks so slimy,
Mm-hmm.
baby. Ugh. All right, so we get to the grocery store, and I could just tell from that moment when we walked in the grocery store that she was about to just she was about to cut out. And when he gave her that money in the car, I'm like, Zach, what are you doing? Like, you
Right.
did the right thing at first. You got to
Mm-hmm.
the store, you pay for everything up front. That's how you treat people who got a problem with drugs. You don't hand them money like they. I don't know what it is, but people who have habits learn how to be sneaky and they manipulative and they can get gone quick. I mean, we saw Wanda in Snowfall how she took old girl chain off of I can't Melanie. She was quick with it. They was friends and then all of a sudden she
Mm-hmm.
grabbed that chain. It was crazy. So I just couldn't believe that Zach gave her the money. So they get into the store. I believe Zach gets a phone call from Fatima or something. So this allows
Mm-hmm.
um, her to walk off. And then this young lady pops up, somebody from Zach's past. And I'm like, girl, you so thirsty. Like this whole
Mm-hmm.
thing was doing too much for me. What do you think about this whole thing?
For some reason, I was not shocked. I definitely thought that Mama was about to be out, and I thought because when he was walking into the supermarket, we see one lady on one side that they seemed to pan to, that I think had on like the black and white dress or a gray and white dress, something like that. And then when it panned the other way, and the mother was getting the shopping cart, we seen this lady standing with the blue dress, and I said, one of these women or both of these women is about to come up to Zach and recognize him and be somebody from his past. And sure enough, here she come, rude as I don't know what to, because she see he on the phone, and apparently they had, the moon and the stars came out when they had sex. She said he was the best thing since cooked rice. So she was
Okay.
trying to find out what was going on with him.
Okay, I'm like, girl, you came
Mm-hmm.
off real thirsty. Don said this reminded me of the. Oh, let me get that off here. This reminded me of the parent favoritism and sibling rivalry in A Jasmine's Blues, which was a good movie, by the way. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Is it not shameful that they feel like Zach owes them? It's very shameful, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And Fatima told Zach in Zatima season 1, episode 1, that he is going to have to set boundaries or he won't have it. And that is, he won't have any money left. That's right, though. Like point
Mm-hmm.
blank and period. That is very true.
Absolutely.
But I just think that guilt that they're making him feel is what's driving him. He feels like he owes for this whole jail quote unquote thing because we don't. However, in,
Mm-hmm.
in this show, we'll just go with that. In this show,
Right.
he feels like he owes them. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why he feels like he owes the mom because she ain't did nothing.
Right.
And it feels like the brother just pretty much gave the money to the mom or whatever they did, split it, whatever, but definitely got smoked up. But I feel like
Mm-hmm.
he's done what he needed to do and he just needs to let it go. So anyway, as he's talking to old girl, he finally gets himself away from her, but not without I don't know what it is. Zach, I mean, he must really, really must be horny because he done got I was like, Zach, really? Really? At the grocery store? Come on
Right.
now, bruh. Let's see.
Hmm.
The old girlfriend didn't have a problem with Zach's sex drive. Okay. Fatima. Oh, okay. We read that one already. Okay. But so then he comes around the corner, and then we can see almost a traumatized Zach, the way his face just looks. And then we're going to learn later why Zach kind of gives this face, why he looks
Hmm.
the way he looks, because his mom is now gone. And the irony of the whole thing is that, we get to the scene where he's in the car, he's out there, and, Fatima comes out and she's talking to him, and she's finding out the situation and what's going on, and he goes on to tell her about the whole situation with the mom and the grocery store. And so
Right.
we have this literal same thing. I can't even imagine how traumatizing that would be, to go from being a child and having, your mom leaving you in the store, and then being an adult, and then that same similar, it's parallel. What did you think about that whole scene? Kind of set that up for me and tell me what you got from when Zach is in the car telling these stories. What did it make you feel like? What did you think about the whole situation?
Yeah, it broke my heart for him. I felt really bad. Like I said, we getting a little deeper into it, and it makes some of his ways that he came off in the beginning make more sense, and just let you get to know, more about him on a deeper level. And then I teared up. Y'all know I said, told y'all I'm sensitive. Okay, I can't help it. I wear my feelings on my sleeve, child. And I was in here like, oh, okay, like and of course I just always love how Fatima's like, I got you. I'm here for you. Don't worry about it. I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to be here with you for as long as you need me. And she's still encouraging him and telling him that he should go speak to somebody. Of course, at first he's like, no, but I think he starts to say, yeah, he will. And I think that that's very important. And I'm all for counseling or talking to somebody or whatever. It doesn't have to necessarily be a counselor, psychiatrist, psychologist, but, definitely speaking to somebody about it and getting your feelings and different things out. She made a great point. Like, if we're supposed to move forward and get married and talk about having a family and all of that, there's a lot of baggage that you're carrying with you that needs, what I'm saying, to be dealt with. Actually, they both have it, to be honest. They both could use talking to somebody. But I love that part and loved her, telling him that. And I just felt really bad for him that, that's something that he went through and experienced, and that was like a trigger for him being in the supermarket. Is like she did that again today. And then she's seeing her having oral sex on somebody, and when he's calling her name, he's like, she didn't even stop, even though she see. I mean, that was really deep, But when you out there spaced out on drugs, honey, that's sometimes, the things unfortunately that happen, and he had to suffer behind it as, a little boy. So
Yeah.
that was definitely deep.
Yeah, it certainly was. I won't even lie. I teared up. This show is it's a comedy per se, a comedy drama. I would call it a dramedy, I guess you could say.
Hmm.
And when I saw that part, I literally teared up. Like, I felt so bad for Zach. I literally felt sad for him, because you get to see that Zach is holding on to all of this hurt, all
Hmm.
of this trauma, yet he still feels this guilt, and he still feels, how sometimes people feel guilty because they made it, and
Right, right, right.
other people and the people
Hmm.
behind them didn't, like they're still stuck in whatever that life is. And I
Hmm.
feel like that's kind of what Zach is going through right now. He feels this guilt for actually getting out of the situation, because we all
Right.
know that it didn't have to go that way for him. We see where
Exactly.
he's coming from, like where he came from. I mean, that's all a setup to not be your best self. You either gonna go one of two ways. You gonna either be
Hmm.
like Jeremiah, or you're gonna try to find your way out of it. And I think that says a lot about Zach, who somehow found his way out of this, because it felt like, just based off of what I've seen, that he was kind of going down a wrong path, but somewhere he was able to take another turn. So this scene, I think, was very eye opening, and I think
Hmm.
even for people who are fans of sisters, I think they would have enjoyed this moment to see this character in this vulnerable state, and maybe get a little more insight into where he's coming from and how much trauma he truly has had in his life, that may be affecting all of these, relationships that he has. So I think there's that.
Absolutely. Hmm.
Let's take a look at the chat. I like seeing the vulnerable side of Zach, and I love that Fatima stepped up. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
When she told him she would stay in the car as long as it took, absolutely. I kept saying, not Zatima, I kept saying, Fatima, do not get out of that car, whatever
Mm-hmm.
you do, because he has a fear of being left alone. You know, he says that go in the house, but he didn't want her to go in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, she gonna stay. I was like, okay, that's what's up. Okay, we already read that one. Develle Ellis and Crystal Renee Hazlitt killed that scene. Absolutely. They did an amazing
Mm-hmm.
job. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was actually the end of the episode. Was this scene when Zach kind of falls into her arms and he's crying, and you know that's kind of where that scene wrapped up. So, as an overall whole, what did you think about these first two episodes so far?
I thought they was good. I thought they was good. It kept my interest. So what I'm ready to see where season 2 was gonna go to. I think we're gonna actually get to see a little bit more into Fatima and her family, maybe some family members of hers, her mom or whatever. So I think that's gonna be interesting, to get more of that, to see where this whole situation with Zach is gonna go. Is he really gonna follow up and actually talk to somebody, and to see what their relationship dynamic is gonna be, as far as how it's gonna grow and how they're gonna be able to learn to communicate with each other and all of that.
Absolutely, because we did hear her tell him that her parents don't even know about him.
Right, that
So
was interesting. Like, how you ain't tell them yet, girl?
okay, you engaged, you living. I'm like,
Hmm.
wait a minute. So
Right.
I think that they're doing such a good job so far with this. Like I said, once again, I'm looking at this directly from the
Hmm.
perspective of just Zatima, and from what I see on this, I feel like they're doing a pretty decent job. You know, putting everything together, building the story, giving us a little bit of something to feed on as
Right.
far as these backstories. And I am really interested in seeing what Fatima's backstory is. I mean, we got the, funny part about Madam,
Hmm.
but I really want to see where she comes from just in
Hmm.
general. And I want to learn more about her. I can live without ever seeing Belinda again, to be honest. I would be okay with diving into Angela a little bit more if she's going to be on the show. Bryce, it is what it is, but I feel like a character that we really like that we really probably should see more of is Nate. I actually think that Nate is a great character to have
Hmm.
on the screen. He sucked, but as far as just on screen and what he can bring to it, I think
Yeah.
they should show him a little bit more. So those are my thoughts on it. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it, guys. Look, I want to thank everybody for coming out, hanging out with us today. We appreciate you guys. Once again, if you have not subscribed to the channels, please make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Tamika, what do you have going on your channel right now?
Um.
Or
What
coming
do
up,
I have?
rather?
Well, my belly is up. My BMF is up. I was late, y'all, so I was behind with everything, but I've been trying to play catch up. So those two are up. Godfather Harlem is up. Tonight at 10, I'm gonna be on Muchella's channel. We're gonna be talking BMF. Um, Tomorrow I think I'm gonna be talking Your Honor with her, and then Wednesday or Thursday we're gonna be talking Godfather. So we're doing a lot of collaborations, and of course, me and just EJ, just call me EJ, is gonna be rotating these. Like she said, it'll probably be streaming from both of our channels. So either way, you can watch it on hers or mine, whatever, don't matter, or watch both.
Okay.
And make sure you subscribe to both of us so that you can be able to keep up with it. Um, and then I'm thinking about maybe adding in Yellow Jackets, and some of the other shows I was doing already had their season finales. I'm not 100% sure yet, but that could possibly be something that I might be adding in as well. We'll see. But just keep your notifications on and stay tuned. We working on some things, trying to get y'all some more content out there.
Okay. Shari asked you a question. You want to answer that question for her right quick?
Um, I'm not too sure. It depends on how my scheduling is. Like I said, this week I'm playing catch up, so maybe by next week I'll have a better idea. Because I really was just thinking that I would just kind of, do the lives with EJ and call it a day. But if I have that extra time, because I'm even thinking about possibly talking about Swarm too. So it's like Swarm. There's so
Mhm.
many shows I want to talk about,
I
but sometimes it's
know.
not enough time. So if I have the extra time, maybe it'll be like short recaps in
Yeah.
between.
That's what
Yeah.
I've been doing. I threw up a short recap on it because they're such small episodes, and I was like, I'll
Mm,
throw up a short recap, and then we can come together and really discuss
right.
it and dive into it and talk about it in much more detail.
Right.
So, yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty
Yeah,
much it,
because I
guys.
was doing recaps on season one, and I was debating whether I was going to do it on two, and then me and you got to talk, and I was like, okay, well, at least I can talk to somebody about it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So anyway, guys, look, that is what's up with Zatima season 2, episodes 1 and 2, guys. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode. If you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and type in hashtag replay squad down at the
Hmm.
bottom. Comment, let us know what you thought about it. And once again, guys, if you're not subscribed to our channels, go ahead and subscribe to the channels. We're trying to get those subscribers up. We're trying to get more content out for you guys, and we're going to be doing a lot more lives, a lot more collabs. So come and rock with
Hmm.
us. All right, guys. Until next time, peace.
All right, y'all. Hey, Alicia.
Hey, girl.